On this channel, I often talk about Google My Business reviews and how to get them. But we're going to spin it around today, and I'm going to show you some of the reviews that I've given to customers, but I'm also going to show you the responses I received, and some things will stagger you. Of course, Google gives every business a chance to get reviews from customers, but it's not just about reviews. It also gives them a chance to upload photos and videos, to give comments, to give commendation, and also to give criticism. And sometimes a review even asks for more than that. And of course, I've always said about the importance of answering reviews, whether it's negative or positive. So we'll see what the results are from these 6 reviews. And of course, we'll see what can we learn from these reviews and what mistakes can we avoid. So let's dive straight in and I'll show you those 6 reviews. So the first example is a Ringwood pub that I went to just a month or so ago, and I just gave it a rating, 4 stars. It was pretty good. And they've responded, so even with just stars and no comments, no photos from me, they've still said thank you as well. So that's kind of the most basic response. It's pretty interactive, but at least they've acknowledged it. And that's one of the things you can take from this. And again, an acknowledgement here for a 4-star review that I had at the Superdry outlet recently. So I posted this about a week ago, and immediately they came back and they thanked me for my feedback. They acknowledged my name, and they mentioned then a few keywords here about their products and services as well. So that's again a good basic response to a 4-star review. So those 2 are kind of just basic examples. In fact, I've got 7 examples, not 6 when I counted them up. Now this one's a great example of keeping in character as well. So I gave just a 5-star review, but expensive but atmospheric. So there's a negative in there and there's a positive in there, but overall it was a great atmosphere. And I posted some photos while I was there as well. And as you can see, these have got some good views. This one's got 16,000 views in the last year. And they've responded, but what they've done so well here is they've kept in character. So it was like a 1940s, 1950s underground train station in London. And they've kept in there Toodle Pip, the feedback manager's on there. He's recognised my name. Thank you for a spiffing 5-star review. We appreciate the comments. We'll pass on to our fellow scoundrels. That's a great example of using the character, keeping the atmosphere, and making the customer feel good for giving a 5-star review. So great example there, and good interaction, and the photos were appreciated too. Let's go to the next one. So I was in a hotel recently. A couple of months ago, I posted this. I've just done a couple of changes because of a spelling mistake. So that's why it says 2 hours. But 2 months ago, they responded as well. And they've been grateful for the review. But they've also recognised that I wasn't overly impressed. The food wasn't that tasty. But they've recognised that, and they've then said that they'll do something about it. So that's a good response. So they've recognised the negativity. In fact, I've given it up to 5 stars now because I wanted to just kind of clarify that. So that's how if you handle a negative review, quite often a person will go in and they'll adopt or they'll make a change in a positive way, which is what I've done there. Now moving on to this one, this is really disappointing. I give it a 5-star review. I put an image, I congratulated them. They became the new sponsor of AFC Bournemouth last year. 2 hours ago, that's just, again, I've just done a slight change to the review. So that was actually done a year ago, but no response at all. Absolutely zero response. It's a local bank in the Sandbanks area. I looked up the details. They've got 12 reviews. Not one person has responded at their end. So they're missing out really. They're not seeing the importance of responding to their customers. And as much as I'm a fan of AFC Bournemouth, that's just disappointing from their sponsor. Moving on to the next one. So I was in Nike factory as well just a few weeks ago. I really was not impressed. We couldn't even get in. There was a large queue outside. They delayed the opening of the shop for several hours. They probably had staff issues and problems. It wasn't just me though. So I mean, I put in a 1-star, which I'll upgrade once they respond to this. But you notice here, others have said far too crowded. They've said huge queues outside and the checkouts, a huge queue, they had to queue for ages. So you can see that there were negatives. A couple of weeks ago when I was there were negative reviews. But there's no response to any of these reviews. And this is a large company, Nike. So they've got a factory outlet and they're not responding to reviews. And this is where you can learn as a small business on a local basis. If others are looking for local companies, Google will not give ratings to companies that aren't corresponding and interacting with their customers. So you can get ahead of the nationals by just responding and acknowledging, and of course it will affect their ratings if they continue to do that. So that's something can be learnt from the fact that larger companies don't always get great reviews and certainly aren't responding. But here's the final one. So this is more of a local company. It's sad really because it was a really good meal and I enjoy eating there. I've put always a lovely place for food with a view. I put a photograph up. This was a couple of years ago. Over 6.5 million views later. This was actually one of the main photos they had. It's not even a good photo, but for some reason the algorithm seemed to like it because it showed internally what the area was like. So I posted this a few years, not one response, no response to my review, no response to my 4-star review. It would be 5-star if I got a response. And 6.5 million customers or potential customers have seen my photo. And in fact, if I go to, this is the actual review here, again, it's just disappointing, isn't it, to see that they've not really responded to any reviews. If I go through, a lot of people are posting great photos. They really are a great restaurant. You can see a lot of 4- and 5-star reviews here, but no response at all. And yet, how many reviews have they got? They've got 396 reviews. So they're missing out. They're a local company, missing out, not really interacting. Maybe if they interacted, they'll find that they get found more on fine dining locally. Hopefully you can learn. There were 7 actually, not 6. So in the case of this last one, I gave them over 6 million views from customers and yet no response. In fact, no response to anything at all. Now they might consider themselves above wanting to comment to customers, but ultimately this is a local business that people look to for guidance and they'll look to see what the reviews and the ratings are and they will see the response. But the fact that most businesses don't respond, this is where you have your opportunity. This is where you can come in and be the business locally that does respond. And you'll notice that in itself is rewarded by Google My Business. The algorithm loves to see good responses. It loves to see lots of positive results. But ultimately, it's that interaction with your clients and customers' comments that gives the algorithm the sign that you're very active, proactive with your customers. But if you want to know the best way to handle reviews, whether they're negative or positive, and put things right, then I'll see you on this video.